Hi guys, how are you? I welcome you all to the awesome and amazing session on class 11 chemistry chapter number 2 atomic structure. In this chapter we are basically going to deal with the following content. In lecture number 1 we are going to deal with Dalton's atomic theory, subatomic particles, atomic models. So let us start. Okay friends, the first topic which we are going to discuss is Dalton's atomic theory. So that according to Dalton's atomic theory there are basically 6 postulates. तो फ्रेंड्स फर्स्ट पोस्टुलेट के हिसाब से ऑल द मैटर्स इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ वेरी लार्ज नंबर ऑफ वेरी स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स कॉल्ड एटम. इट मीन्स जो मैटर्स होते हैं वो एटम्स के स्मॉल स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स को कंबाइन करके बने होते हैं. सेकेंड पॉइंट स्टेट्स दैट एटम्स आर इनडिविजिबल विच कैन नॉट बी क्रिएटेड और डिस्ट्रॉयड. यानी एटम्स को हम डिवाइड नहीं कर सकते या फिर उन्हें बना भी नहीं सकते या फिर उन्हें डिस्ट्रॉय भी नहीं कर सकते. थर्ड पॉइंट स्टेट्स दैट एटम ऑफ अ गिवन एलिमेंट आर आइडेंटिकल इन मास एंड केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी. यानी एटम के जितने भी एलिमेंट्स होते हैं एटम ऑफ गिवन एलिमेंट इन आर आइडेंटिकल यानी वो सेम होते हैं मास और सारे केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज में. फोर्थ पॉइंट स्टेट्स दैट एटम ऑफ डिफरेंट एलिमेंट हैव डिफरेंट मास एंड डिफरेंट केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी. यानी हर एलिमेंट के अपने अपने एटम डिफरेंट होते हैं इसलिए उनकी सारी केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज डिफरेंट होती है और उनके मास भी डिफरेंट होते हैं. फिफ्थ पॉइंट स्टेट्स दैट एटम कंबाइंस इन रेशियो ऑफ स्मॉल होल नंबर टू फॉर्म कंपाउंड्स. यानी एटम्स कंबाइन होके कोई फिक्स प्रोपोर्शन में एक कंपाउंड बनाते हैं. सिक्स पॉइंट स्टेट्स दैट द रिलेटिव नंबर एंड काइंड ऑफ एटम आर कांस्टेंट इन अ गिवन कंपाउंड. मूविंग फर्दर हम बातें करने वाले हैं सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स के बारे में. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि डाल्टन्स एटॉमिक थियरी वाज एबल टू एक्सप्लेन 3 लॉज. तो उसमें पहला लॉ है लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास, लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ कांस्टेंट कंपोजिशन एंड लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मल्टीपल प्रोपोजिशन. ये लॉ हम पढ़ेंगे धीरे धीरे फ्रेंड्स, बट इट फेल्ड टू एक्सप्लेन द रिजल्ट ऑफ मैनी एक्सपेरिमेंट. बट ये कुछ चीज़ें थी जो डाल्टन्स थियरी नहीं समझा पाई थी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट वॉज नोन इन सब्सटेंस लाइक glass when rubbed with silk or fur generate electricity. इस टाइप की इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को हम फ्रिक्शनल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कहते हैं जो हम फिजिक्स में पढ़ेंगे. और many different kinds of subatomic particle were discovered in 20th century. In this section we are going to basically deal with only 2, which is electron and proton, and third particle which we are going to deal about is basically neutron. So you can see that here an animation has been shown to you. In animation I have shown you the structure of an atom basically, in which the center part, which is orange and green color, it constitutes the nucleus of an atom. With nucleus contains proton and neutron, and the yellow dots which are moving around the nucleus is known as electron. Electron are continuous revolution around the nucleus. So this is the whole and soul structure of an atom. Moving further we are going to deal with discovery of an electron. In 1830 Michael Faraday showed that if electricity is passed through a solution of electrolyte, chemical reaction occur at the electrode. यानी if electrolyte solution में हम करंट पास करेंगे तो केमिकल रिएक्शन इलेक्ट्रोड पे होती है. वो हम इलेक्ट्रोकेमिस्ट्री में और रिडॉक्स रिएक्शन में पढ़ेंगे डिटेल में. In middle 1850 many scientists, mainly Faraday, began to study electrical discharge in partially evacuated tube. This tube was named as cathode ray discharge tube. We will have a deep study on cathode ray discharge tube, but let us see what is cathode ray tube here. So here I have shown you the cathode ray discharge tube. You can see that it is a discharge tube which is made up of glass with a small vacuum chamber over here. It has air pressure of very low and has 2 plates. One is cathode and the second one is anode. The green glow will be understood afterward. Then you can see that it is connected to a very high voltage generator. You can see that a current is passing in the direction from positive to negative, and similarly the electron will pass from negative to positive. As a result you can see that electrons are emitted from the cathode side, so hence the tube is named as cathode ray tube. This electron goes from the cathode side to the anode side and strike on the surface which has been highlighted, you can see. But we don't know, at that time we don't know what were electron, and discovery not were made to identify the presence of an electron. A fluorescent material was pasted over here What is fluorescent material? It is a type of material which we will study further. It is pasted over here, and when electron strikes on the fluorescent material, they glow. As a result, we can study or we can conclude the presence of an electron. So you can see the cathode ray first tube starts from the cathode and move towards anode. यानी इलेक्ट्रॉन कैथोड से लेके एनोड तक जाते हैं. सेकेंड पॉइंट स्टेट्स दैट दिस रे themselves आर नॉट विजिबल. ये रे जो है वो विजिबल नेकेड आई से नहीं है, इसलिए हम एक फ्लोरोसेंट मटेरियल, यू कैन सी दैट द नेम हैज बीन गिवन ओवर हियर, अ फ्लोरोसेंट मटेरियल और फॉस्फोरेसेंट विच ग्लो हीट व्हेन हीट बाय देम. एक मटेरियल यहाँ पे पेश करते हैं जिस पे जब इलेक्ट्रॉन हीट करेंगे तो वो स्पार्कलिंग इफेक्ट देंगे. और ये मटेरियल वी हैव सीन दैट द टेलीविजन पिक्चर ट्यूब्स और द CRT rays are also used on the basis of this phenomena only. Third point states that in the absence of electric and magnetic field, this ray travel in straight line. यानी जब इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड और मैग्नेटिक फील्ड एब्सेंट होगी उस कंडीशन में ये रे स्ट्रेट जाएगी. या फिर अगर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है तो ये रे किसी और राइट साइड डेविएट होगी या लेफ्ट साइड डेविएट होगी, और अगर इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड है तो वो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में ही रिपेल होगी. The fourth point states that in the presence of electrical and magnetic field, behavior of cathode ray remains similar. यानी similar to the accepted from negatively charged particle, suggesting that cathode ray consists of negatively charged particle called electron. As a result, we got the discovery of an electron, which is negatively charged particle. The characteristics of cathode ray does not depends on the material of electrode and nature of the gas. This is very important point, friends. You should highlight it, that the characteristics of cathode ray does not depends upon the material of the electron and the nature of the gas present in the cathode ray tube. Hence, they are independent of nature of gas or the material used for the tube. But in spec which we are going to study further, which is known as anode ray, it is dependent. So moving further, I showed you that you will see a green color or a yellow color sparkling effect over here. So now we are going to study with the charge to mass ratio of an electron. In 1897, a physicist J.J. Thomson measured the ratio of electric charge to the mass of an electron by using cathode ray and applying electrical and magnetic field perpendicular to each other as well as to the path of electron. So here an arrangement has been shown here. There is a cathode over here and an anode, and the ray is passed through a perpendicularization of a magnetic field and electric field. As a result, the dark spots are being found on the fluorescent screen. So here the Thomson argued that the amount of deviation of the particle from their path in the presence of electrical and magnetic field depends upon. So here are some postulates which we got from the experiment made by Thomson. So the first thing he came to know about that the magnitude of negative charge on the particle, greater the charge on particle, greater is the interaction, greater will be the diffraction. It means the more the magnitude of the charge, the more will be its deflection. The second point states that the mass of particle is lighter the particle, greater will be the deflection, because lighter particle moves faster. Third point states that the strength of the electrical or magnetic field, deflection of electron from its original path, increase with increasing voltage. It means if the voltage is increased, then the strength of electrical and magnetic field also increase. As a result, the deviation of the electron from its path will also increase. By carrying out accurate measurement, they came to a final conclusion, which was to find the E/m ratio as shown in the figure. You need to just remember this, friends. There is no another derivation to remember it. You need to just remember the value that E/m will be equal to 1.758 into 10 to the power 11 coulombs per kg. So now we are going to study the charge on the electron. The Millikan devised a method known as oil drop experiment, which is in your NCERT. You can just go through it to determine the charge on the electron. He found the charge on the electron to be minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. The present accepted value of electrical charge is given here, so it was nearly same only. The mass of the electron was determined by combining this result, and he found as a result the mass of the electron to be 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kgs. So the discovery of proton and neutron. So unlike cathode ray, the positively charged particle depends upon nature of gas present inside the cathode ray tube. But here the term cathode ray tube should be not defined, it should be written as modified cathode ray tube, because here I have written that electrical discharge carried down the modified cathode ray tube led to the discovery of particle called positively charged. So the positively charged particle which was defined there was known as proton. So unlike cathode ray, the positively charged particle depends upon nature of gas present in the cathode ray tube. So the second point states that the charge to mass ratio of the particle is found to depend on the gas from which this originate. Hence as a result the charge to mass ratio gas पे depend है यहाँ पे, whereas is not dependent on in case of electron. Moving further, you can see that some of the positively charged particle carries a multiple of fundamental units of electrical charge. The behavior of this particle in magnetic and electric field is opposite to that observed in electron or cathode ray. It means the charge on this particle will be opposite to the cathode ray tube. Hence it would be a positively charged, and the smallest and the lightest ion was obtained from hydrogen was known as proton. So here we have came to the discovery of second subatomic particle, which was proton. But there was again a need was felt for the presence of electrically neutral particle. Hence as a result J. Chadwick's in 1932 discovered a neutral charge which was known as neutron. Hence let us see a comparative study between all the three, which is proton, neutron and electron. So the neutron, its location is in nucleus, proton also lies in nucleus, and electron revolves around the energy levels. Their mass has been shown over here and their charges are also been shown over here. Now we are going to enter in atomic models. So the first model which we are going to study is Thomson model, and the second model which we are going to deal is the Rutherford model of atom. Let us see the Thomson model of atom. Thomson atomic model was proposed by William Thomson in 1900. The model explains the description of inner structure of atom theoretically. It shows the inner structure of the atom theoretically, and it was discovered and it was strongly supported by Sir Joseph Thomson, who had discovered the electron earlier. So during the cathode ray experiment, a negatively charged particle was discovered by J.J. Thomson. This experiment took place in 1897. Cathode ray tube in a vacuum tube. Negatively charged particle we know named as electron. Moving, we see that the postulates of the Thomson atomic model are shown over here. The first postulate states that atom consists of positively charged particle sphere with electron embedded in it. Hence the first postulate हमें ये बताता है फ्रेंड्स कि एटम जो है इट इज अ स्फीयरिकल, एटम एक स्फीयरिकल शेप का है और उसका पूरा मास है वो पॉजिटिव है और इलेक्ट्रॉन उसके अंदर एम्बेड किए हुए हैं. The second postulate states that an atom as a whole is electrically neutral because positively charged magnitude and negatively charged का magnitude equal है, इसलिए whole system neutral होगी. Hence it is compared to an watermelon structure. You can see that watermelon structure has been shown over here only, that the whole red part is the positively charged and the seed are being embedded in it as an electron, and this atomic structure has been shown here. The limitation of the Thomson atomic model are shown over here. That the first limitation was it failed to explain the stability of atom because his model of atom fails to explain how a positively charged hold negatively charged in an atom. The second postulate states that it failed to explain the scattering of alpha particles, and the third point states that J.J. Thomson did not have any experimental evidences in his support. So as the atomic model of John Thomson was not much accepted, but it started a evolution for the theory of atomic models. As a result, the second atomic model was generated, which was by Rutherford. Rutherford and his students, whose name are been given, started a alpha particles gold foil experiment, in which they got as a result that they use a thin gold foil with a circular fluorescent zinc sulfate screen around it. Whenever an alpha particle struck the screen, a thin flash of light was produced at that point. As a result, they found the presence of some particles which were known as electron. But why he used only gold foil? The answer to the question is been that gold is a very malleable atom, hence it can be converted into as much as small thin sheet of paper. As a result, gold was used. So studying it with directly over here only, Rutherford gold foil experiment setup has been shown. There is a box over here with a radioactive source. It emits continuous alpha particles and it passes through a gold foil which is covered by a circular detector of zinc sulfide. You can see that the detector is of zinc sulfide. So you can, when the alpha particle passes through the gold foil, you can see that most alpha particles travel through the gold foil undeflected. It means they cover the straight path. The second point states that some alpha particles are deflected by small angle. And the third point states that occasionally an alpha particle travel back from its foil. It means it travels on the same 180 degree from which it came. So from these 3 points we make an interpretation which has been shown over here. The interpretation has been that when most of the alpha particles travel through the foil, it means the atom is mostly empty inside. Then some alpha particles are undeflected. It means nucleus is positively charged particle and alpha particles. Then the third says that it is the nucleus is positively charged. It has been shown over here. And the third point which has been shown over here is if the occasionally an alpha particle just travel, only one alpha particle was able to travel back to its own position. As a result, you can say that the nucleus carries most of the atom's mass, means the mass of whole atom has been concentrated at the nucleus. So now we are going to deal with the atomic number and mass number. So let us take an element X with representation A, X and Z, where A stands for mass number, Z stands for atomic number, where A is the mass number which is the summation of protons and number of neutrons, whereas atomic number is just the number of protons. So the atomic number is equal to the number of proton in nucleus, or it is equal to the number of electron in a neutral atom. It means neutral atom here stands for atom which has neither donated or accepted electrons. So and the mass number is equal to number of proton plus number of neutrons. So the next point which we are going to deal with is isobars and isotopes. So isobars have same atomic number but different atomic mass number, whereas isobars have same number of nucleon. It means it has same number of mass number but different atomic number. The example has been shown over here, you can just go through it. So moving further, we are going to deal with the drawbacks of Rutherford model. So Rutherford models have many drawbacks. So you can just see that the electron revolving around the nucleus have centripetal acceleration. As a result, you can see that due to the continuous revolution, the energy of the electron will lose and it will ultimately fall into the nucleus. As a result, the atomic model was unstable, and it has been shown that the atomic model cannot remain stable. And the second point which has been discussed over here is Rutherford model also failed to explain the line spectrum. The line spectrum which was more clearly explained by Bohr's model, which we are going to study in our upcoming lectures. But you can see that the drawbacks are shown over. The second point states that according to electrodynamics, accelerated charge particle radiates in form of energy. यानी जब चार्ज पार्टिकल एक्सेलरेट करेगा तो वो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स कंटिन्यूअस एमिट करता है. Hence this electromagnetic waves should continuously radiated by electron. Due to the continuous loss of energy of the electron, the radius of orbit will continuously decrease and ultimately electron falls into the nucleus. यानी जब इलेक्ट्रॉन अपनी एनर्जी लूज करेगा तो उसकी रेडियस कम होते 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 वो पूरा न्यूक्लियस में गिर जाएगा. एज अ रिजल्ट द इलेक्ट्रॉन शुड फॉल इनटू द न्यूक्लियस. हेंस द एटम cannot remain stable. Hence the first drawback is it cannot explain the stability of atom, and the second was it was not able to explain the line spectrum. So let us have a comparative study between Thomson model and Rutherford model. So Thomson model of atom states the electrons are embedded in positively charged solid material, whereas Rutherford model of atom describes that an atom is composed of atomic nucleus and electron revolve around the nucleus. It does not give any detail about atomic nucleus, but it explains the atomic nucleus. It states electrons are embedded in a solid material, whereas it states that electrons are located around the central solid material. It indicates that atom is a spherical structure. It indicates atom has a central solid core surrounded by an electron. These are basically the difference between the Rutherford model and Thomson model. So friends, here we are completing with the lecture number 1. In lecture number 1 we have completed with the subatomic particles, Dalton's atomic theory, and the atomic models of Thomson and Rutherford. So in the next lecture we are going to start with the main topic of this chapter, in which we are going to discuss with the Bohr's atomic theory and the hydrogen spectrum, which we are going to study, and the Pauli exclusive principle, and the other principle which are being Aufbau principle, which we are going to study in our upcoming lectures. So thank you friends.